that we.
I believe that we.
I believe that we did.
I believe that we did.
I believe that we did win.
I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win. I believe that we did win.
The always fun post-game chant by the Lincoln Golden Bears after a huge win at home in their first game in the region. We will talk about it next on the Lincoln Playbook. I'm Gary Mathagani, joined in by head coach of the Golden Bears, Brad Wallace, and coach, a dominating performance in the first week of the region play, a 53-7 win over St. Clair County. Just first off, your overall thoughts about the game.
Well, I mean, each week we're trying to grow as a team, and this week's actual word, it kind of goes along with what you said, is dominate.
Right.
And we're learning how to do that. We're learning how to dominate our opponent for 4 quarters.
Right.
And if we can do that, we'll become a better football team as the season progresses.
The old adage in football is that teams make the most improvement from week 1 to week 2. It looks like your guys did about that same thing.
Yeah, we're taking this step by step. I mean, our kids, they understand that, hey, we're not going to be the best we can be right at the beginning, but if we keep progressing and keep getting better and better as weeks progress, we're going to be a better football team by game 10. 2
games at home, and you have a tough battle against Pell City in that first one, and then you battle back in this second one. Just talk about the way the season has started out. I mean, you had to play a road game, but you got to test your team in 2 different ways against 2 different kind of opponents.
Yeah, I mean, we've tested them to the end of the wire against Pell City. I mean, they had a lot more depth than us, and it made our kids figure out what 4 quarters of football is all about. Right. It would be like a playoff opponent. And I mean, when we came into our second game, I mean, it was a little bit easier on us, but I mean, it's a region opponent, and it's something that we were trying to. Our main goal right now is to win the region, and what we've got to do is take steps every week to get ourselves there.
You talked about it, the fact that it's a region game, and we all know that these are really important because week 3 has implications in week 10 and week 11, and positioning yourself for the playoffs. And nobody ever wants to look ahead, whether it's high school, college, or the NFL. But just talk about getting the win in the region and making sure that you start off on the right foot there.
Well, number one, I mean, it's our first 5A win.
Right.
I mean, and that was big for our program. That was big for our football team. A lot of excitement, a lot of emotion. I mean, we came in after the game, and we did the alma mater in the locker room, and I mean, the kids are alive. I mean,
right.
it's black and gold, and I mean, I'm enjoying being around these kids right now.
For sure. All the off-season work, all the training that went into the off-season. Talk about just the glory that it feels as a coach to know that the players have now seen what it takes to get to where they want to go.
Oh, I remind them about it every Friday night. I mean, I talk about all the blood, sweat, and tears that they've put into this since after the JO game. I mean, that's when we started. We had a day out of school on that Monday, and I never will forget coming in on Tuesday, and the first set of kids came in, and I said, let's get dressed. It's time to get to work. And we've worked from that Tuesday all the way up until this season. And it's starting to show on the field. I mean, our speed's a little faster, and we're a lot stronger on the offensive and defensive lines right now.
Absolutely. You will see that strength and speed coming up a little bit later in the first half highlights of the Lincoln Playbook. But first, we want to thank our fine sponsors. One of them is that Luxury Auto Parts. We want you to go out and visit our friends who have been in business for the last 15 years. Liam McClain is the owner of the business. They have over 20 years of experience in the car industry. They sell rebuildable wrecks, and they have any part that you need. The part yard is over 50 acres long. They also have cars ready to go at their LA Auto location in Lincoln. You can call 205-763-1084 or 888-589-PARTS. Buy here, pay here, also available on some of their inventory. Go check them out online at luxuryautoparts.com. We'll be back with the Lincoln Playbook first half highlights after the break. Welcome back into the Lincoln Playbook. You're looking at first half highlights of Lincoln's second game of regular season, first game of the region against St. Clair County. Coach Wallace, talk about what you wanted to execute here to win that game.
First off, we started out with sweep play off the weak side, and I mean, our kids came out and we executed it well, but then we got into a stall with our next 2 plays. Luckily, we had an opportunity right here to get the ball back and get back on the field with our offense. And I mean, it took a couple series to get the Pell City game kind of ironed out of us.
Right. It was looking at the beginning of the game, we really wanted to establish that.
That's our main deal. We want to establish the run game, and we want to pass off the run game. So we're trying to get our big linemen, trying to get them where we can start getting some surge. We talked about it today in our film sessions, and so it's going to take a lot for our offensive line. I mean, we've got to grow as an offensive line all the way through the year.
It looks like at the very beginning you took advantage of that turnover and made it into a touchdown, and then you get the ball back here.
Yes, sir. Our defense came out and they were swarming right at the beginning. I mean, they started off really hot and gave us some opportunities right at the beginning of the game to get in the end zone. And if we can keep that, if we can keep both sides pulling the same load, I mean, there's no telling where we wind up by the end of the season.
Absolutely. Before the touchdown you just saw there's another touchdown that was called back. Just talk about the resiliency to get back into the end zone after that.
I mean, the thing about it is we're trying to learn how to finish the game and make sure that we can keep our heads high no matter what happens. If the adversity gets strikes on the field, we can always come back from it. And our kids are doing a great job of it this year. They're fighting back from it, and I mean, I'm not seeing the heads drop a lot.
Right. And they also wanted to establish the run too at the beginning. You guys did a good job of following them up and then here hitting them with the big play.
Man, this is Jermichael Baker I think this was, if I'm not mistaken, this was a 50-yard touchdown pass by Zay Caldwell. Coach is getting excited down there, and I mean, we've got to keep it alive.
Yeah, for sure. And that energy is something that you can probably feel the whole time.
Oh, it is, and I mean, we tell the kids all the time, we can't play it anymore, but we live through you. So I mean, it's a lot of fun when the kids are buying into the program and doing what they're taught. Now we had a busted play right here. We had a guy step into the wrong gap. It opens up everything when you blitz, and my DC actually put that one on his back. When we came in the meeting today, he told me, he said that was mine. And he said that's my 7 points. I apologize. So,
but you responded big, huge return.
Oh yeah, Justin Knight. I mean, he's been phenomenal for the last couple of years on his returns, and he did a good job on that one as well. Jermichael Baker is in-house. We'll have him later. Here, Jamal Howard with another nice run. Oh, man, he set it up. The great thing about that whole run was he set up the offensive line to where he could find his little seam in there. So, I mean, he's very patient running.
This is just a fantastic interception.
Oh, man. Right side. The sky's the limit with this kid. If he keeps improving at free safety, I mean, he's going to get a lot. Had a little fumble right here. And then we came back. Luckily we got it out of the end zone, and then we got 5 yards right there, and just kind of got it out of the end zone so we wouldn't be in a bind, and punted it back to him. But our defense went out and held strong.
Absolutely, and you have to love to get out to the early lead to make them throw. That way you can get some pressure on the pass.
That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, when you know you've got the lead, you know they're going to be in a passing situation, and you can kind of turn your defensive lineman loose and kind of let them be more relaxed as far as on pass rush, not worried about as much as the run and trying to get their hands on the shoulder. Had a little mess up right here. We had a pickoff with a forward pass, and then of course the linebacker fumbled as we go down the sideline. But that was the end of the half, and we went into the halftime talking about we need to get ourselves poised back, and we need to get back to stable as a offense and defensive game. And so the kids came back out in the second half and did a good job with it.
From what you saw on tape from St. Clair County to what they actually executed, was about the same thing that you saw?
It was very similar. To what we saw the week before on when they played John Carroll, but. I tell you, we were expecting a lot out of them. I mean, they've got 2 big linemen on each end that are phenomenal. I mean, they're huge.
Right.
But our kids are fighting, and that's the one thing that I give major credit to our kids about.
It looks like when you take a look at the fourth quarter of the way last week played out, and you know the Hearts are kind of sully, but at the same time they have some resolve there. And they take a look at the way the first quarter and the second quarter played out of this game. You talk about that bounce back factor that they had. You know, such a heartbreaking way to end the Pell City game, leading into such a dominant first half.
Well, the thing that we're trying to instill in these guys is don't ever look at that scoreboard and think that you can't come back. I mean, we're going to fight till the end of the fourth quarter. I'm always talking about the old days back when I was playing. Everybody talked about if you played Lincoln, you were going to get hit every game. It
Right.
didn't matter if it was a win or loss, and that's what we're trying to instill in these kids right now.
You guys opened up the run game and really set up the passing game there. Is that something you wanted to continue to do in the second quarter or second half?
That's exactly what we wanted to do, and I mean it opened up tremendously in the second half. We died down off of it. The score got out of hand, and we wanted to get some young guys in, so you get to see a little bit more running game in the second half.
Absolutely. You will see the second half highlights in just a minute, but first, all the fans at Keith Howard Memorial Stadium got to see the band play at halftime. You do the same thing right here on the Lincoln Playbook. We'll be back with second half highlights after this. Welcome back to the Lincoln Playbook. We saw first half highlights earlier. Lincoln up 26-7 in the first half, and what a kick there by
Man, Mason's booming them right now on our kickoffs. I mean, it's getting away. I had to get onto our kickoff team about, I think, second quarter because they started lulling down the field a little bit, and I just didn't want to get caught off guard. Oh yeah, Zay Caldwell, of course. Anytime he touches the ball, the lights are on. Right. And he's going to bring it downhill. This is Jamario Howard again on the little buck sweep play. He's getting a little tired, a little winded. We're down one running back right now, but he'll be back in a few weeks. And we're trying to play a few more. This is Runye Bell.
And it seemed like at the beginning of the game, especially in the beginning of the third quarter, you really wanted to execute just some bigger plays, and there was a huge play there by Jamaica Baker.
That's it. I mean, he had a fantastic night. I mean, yeah, I think coming back off of his injury, and we'll talk about that later on. I mean, he's been a phenomenal worker trying to get himself back ready to go.
And even with a 3-touchdown lead, this defense still bothering him up.
Oh man, and I mean, and what's so great about it is after we get into the fourth quarter and our twos get out there, they're still running the same game plan and they're still executing it just as well.
Oh man,
it's a great job swimming the football. Everybody's around the ball. I love to see those gold pants around the football.
And here you almost call it a coverage second. He had nowhere to go to, so you know the guys are back in doing their job.
Oh, definitely. Our coverage got a little bit easier this week. That's one thing that we did work on this week a lot is because last week we had a few plays, busted coverages, and we tried to execute that as well. This is Jamaica Baker again on a sweep off the right side. And man, when he gets open, it's open.
And so you have two different touchdowns run two different ways, and just talk about the versatility that he brings.
Oh, he's a phenomenal kid, number one. And number two, I mean, when he gets the ball in his hands, he's got tremendous speed. He's one of our track stars, and I think he's running like 11:06, 100 meter. And I mean, when he's getting it like that, there's not many people who can catch up with him.
Absolutely. And then they continue to try to run the ball, even though they're down, as many scores. But the physicality is still there from your guys.
Yeah, and they're playing with emotion and playing with excitement. You can still see it in their eyes. I mean, that's the one thing. This is a young back in the third quarter. We're starting in our fourth quarter with all our younger guys, and they're still running just as hard as they were.
Right. Coming up is one of my favorite plays of the game. It's probably not how you draw it up. Not this play. It's probably the next one coming up. But hey, you have a backup quarterback in, and he kind of makes some things happen and finds ways to make a play.
Oh man, they call him Tebow. That's what they start calling him in just a few minutes. He gets loose and goes. They said, how many yards did you have on there? I said, probably about 100. Because he takes it from one side to the other.
Absolutely. And you can tell when these guys get Friday night experience, it's always good for them.
It is. I mean, it's a growing experience for them, and this actually will help them out being younger players playing early. So, I mean, given the opportunity to get against some varsity guys in the game, I mean, it's great for these young kids.
Absolutely, and that score plus this extra point to make it 53-7, and the defense continues to play well. The offense plays physical, and talk about the fact that that one big play that happened in the second half, the first quarter. They get a touchdown. You guys bottle them up after that. Shut them out.
Well, the thing that we went into at halftime, and I mean, that was right before the half, and we started getting a little sloppy right at the end of the second quarter. And I came in, I told the guys, I said, this is not the way we're going to finish this game.
Yeah.
This is not how we're going to finish our games this year. And the one thing that I keep harping to these guys is we're going to learn to play 4 quarters full tilt, and we're not going to stop until that last whistle blows.
Right, right. With this being a region opponent and with this being a region game, did it feel different from the Pell City game, just as far as the emotion goes and all that? Because I know this is somewhat of a new opponent for you guys.
Well, pretty much every team except for Anniston and Alexandria will be new teams for us. And I mean, they were excited about getting into this game. I mean, I know when we moved up to 5A, everybody was a little bit nervous, but I think our kids have kind of settled in and said, all right, we're 5A now, let's go take what we can get.
Absolutely. Talk about some of the things you saw specifically from the offensive side that you liked, that you said, hey, we did this better this week than we did last week.
I think our blocking all around was a lot better. We still got a lot of work to do there. Our receivers, I think our receivers coach came in today and he was talking about we need to block better, which we do on the perimeter, on the outside, so we can break those long runs when they get out. But we're going. Of course, fundamentals. It's going to be a time process and trying to get better and better as the weeks progress. And hopefully by that week 10, we're just about where we're about to peak going into the playoffs.
Absolutely. Special teams wise, it seemed like there was a couple of missed extra points, but at the same time, he was booming them into the back of the end zone, and so you could tell that everything is there. Just needs to clean some stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, and we work on that stuff. We do a lot of tempo stuff during our practices, and we include Mason into our kicks. And I'm always counting down 10 seconds. I want him to get it off in 10 seconds when I start calling for him. And he's getting there with it. He just had a couple of tweaks. I think one of them was a bad hold on the tee, but I think he misplaced another one. But he's going to be fine. I mean, he's getting better as the weeks progress. His punch. I mean, we still hadn't seen the best ones come yet.
Right. Talk about defensively, some of the things you saw from last week to this week. Obviously, last week it led up 30 points, but it was more some big plays. This week, really one big play and bottom up for that.
That's right. I mean, the one thing that we did this week defensively, I think we swarmed the ball a lot more, and I think we were around the football about every play. And there was, and I kept noticing there were a lot more of the free safeties and corners coming in at the end of plays, and so that means our swarming is getting a lot better as far as group tackling and gang tackling, And if you watch that enough, in my eyes, what that means is we're coming together as one unit, and we're working together as one unit.
Absolutely. Coming up in our next segment, you will meet one of the captains, one of the leaders for the Lincoln Golden Bears, JaMychal Baker. We have him in studio. We'll have him next on the Lincoln Playbook. Obviously, we have fantastic sponsors on this show. You heard from Luxury Auto Parts earlier. We also have the Lincoln Booster Club. They're a proud support to support the Lincoln Golden Bear football team. They wish Coach Brad Wallace, his staff, and players the best of luck this season. Lincoln is, of course, a tight, close-knit, hard-working community, and the Booster Club is a great reflection of the Lincoln community as a whole. They meet every single Monday night, 6:30 p.m. at Rick's Crossroads Cafe. Any prospective member is welcome to attend. The cafe is located at the intersection of Highway 77 and 78 up on the hill. The Lincoln Booster Club also supports all sports at Lincoln High School. Back with the Playbook after this. And welcome back into the Lincoln Playbook. We are joined now by one of the senior leaders of this team, JaMychal Baker. JaMychal, we saw in the highlights both in the first half and the second half, you had a monster game. We'll get to this contraption in a moment. But first, talk about the way everything played out Friday night.
I feel like we had a great win. Some stuff we didn't do right in the first half.
Right.
But we came back out in the second half and we got it together. Coach came in the second half at halftime and told us that we needed to come back here and have a great game and finish it out, because usually we don't finish through the fourth quarter because we're so tired.
Right.
But the conditioning coach has been giving us this week has prepared us for it, and when we came out, we got the W.
Talk about everything that happened last week bouncing into this week. You know, the fourth quarter last week, 3 late touchdowns by Pell City, kind of heartbreaking, and then, you bounce back this week, have a good first half, and then an even better second half.
Oh, at the end of the game last week, the players had a talk, and we told ourselves that we couldn't let this happen anymore. Always going down in the fourth quarter late. And then this week we came out and practiced really hard.
Right.
We came out being aggressive, had a great week of practice, and Thursday we told ourselves that we were going to come out here and get a win, and that's what happened.
You know, it's the first also region win of the season as well. Just talk about, you know, how big that part is.
Oh, it was huge to start off undefeated in the region. Hopefully we can maintain this all season and keep it going. We need to win the region, to be honest, and have a great playoff spot.
You guys improved vastly from the first week to the second week. Is that one of the things that you even feel, that you even see? Obviously the scoreboard tells you that, but is that something that when you go out and watch part of it, when you watch the film, say, hey guys, we're getting better?
Yeah, I think it really is, because during the film session last week, you can see us get down on ourselves in the fourth quarter. And this week, you can see us still trying to run the score up on them. It was a great week.
Yeah. Coach,
overall.
Coach, Jamichael's one of the seniors. He's been on the field for a long time. Talk about what he brings to this team as far as leadership and his on-field play.
Well, I mean, he's not one of my he's not one of the guys that just all the time ripping and romping and yelling, but he's more of a leader about what he does and how he does things on the field. The injury he's got on his arm, I mean, the whole time even the day after he got his injury, he was back out on the field with a helmet on. He was actually doing stuff on his own on the sides, and I watched him the whole time. I don't think he'd ever noticed that I was watching him, but he would get into his DB drills, he would get into his wide receiver drills. As long as there wasn't any contact, he was still a part of everything. And the guys look at each other that way, and they try to, and they understand that, hey, if he's gonna give this up, then I'm gonna work harder here. And I think more of that's going on right now. I think a lot of them are leaning on each other a little bit more than what we have in the past.
Absolutely. Jamichael, you were asked to run the ball out of the backfield. You were asked to catch the ball. You had over 100 yards of total offense, 3 different touchdowns. You touched the ball less than 10 times. You had 3 touchdowns. You know, just talk about just the way that you're asked to, you know, be a part of this offense and just kind of what you bring to the table.
Before Coach called a play in the huddle, he'll say, Jamichael, this is your time, go make a play. And every time he called my number, I just happened to make a play. I like to thank my linemen most of all, though, because without their blocking, then I wouldn't be able to do none of this.
For sure.
And the quarterback for throwing the ball out there where it needed to be put.
Absolutely. Coach, talk about his versatility in those situations.
I mean, we noticed it game 1. I mean, to be honest with you, he got released like 2 days before that game, and he was. We weren't even going to use him much. We were going to try to hold him out a little bit and just use him sparingly when we needed him to. But man, he came out in the first ball game and I mean he had some opportunities and caught a ball and had a quick burst, and I was like, man, it's going to be nice when we have it back. Well, this week he got behind a corner on that long touchdown pass. We ran the speed sweep with him one time, and man, it's unbelievable how fast he is when he gets out on the edge. It's kind of hard for people to get angles on him because you don't really know when he's going to kick that other burst in.
Right. Next up for both you guys is Alexandria. It's another big region game. They're one of the teams that came up with you from 4A into 5A. First off, Coach, talk about the Valley Cubs and what you expect there.
Well, you know as well as I do, Alexandria's they're going to be technically sound on everything that they do. I mean, they've been running a lot of their stuff and since I was in high school, and I mean they do a great job over there. And the one thing that we're going to have to use is we're going to have to use a lot more of our speed this week and hope that we can get outside on the edges. Their defensive line does a great job on the inside, and they've got some inside linebackers that are real active. So we're going to have to get our linemen up onto them too, and it's going to be a difficult task for us this week.
Absolutely. Jamichael, you've played against these Valley Cubs a bunch of times. You're going to play them again. Let's talk about what you expect out of them.
I expect it to be a tough physical game. Every time we play Alexandria, we want to come out with a W. It hasn't happened here back-to-back in a while. So we just trying to do our best and get this win. You know, the team been talking about it. All we want to do is beat Alexandria this week. That's all we're focused on, and that's all we're going to think about this week during practice.
Absolutely. Coach, final minute here. Just talk about just handling a road trip. It's a tough place to play over there at Lucille Stadium.
Man, I mean, they don't call it Death Valley for nothing. I mean, it's a tough place to play. We're going to try to go into it. I mean, it's really not that far up the road from our school, so we're going to probably leave a little bit later and get ourselves up there closer to game time, closer to time for us to go out and warm up. But we're going to prepare ourselves this week. That's our main goal. And the big thing for us to do is we've taken on this role is we're not worried about our opponent as much as we are us. I mean, we don't want to have our mental breakdowns and that
Right.
type of thing. So that's what we're going to be working on this week is a lot of our fundamental stuff.
Absolutely. You will see that all next week right here on the Lincoln Playbook. For Jermichael Baker, thank you very much for joining us. For Coach Wallace as well, good luck next week. We'll see them next week at Lucedale Stadium, Lincoln, Alexandria, a big Class 5A Region 6 battle. We will see you next week right here on the Lincoln Playbook.
Return.